The research vessel Hyperion drifted silently through the void, its experimental probability drive humming with a sound that reminded Captain Maya Chen of whale songs. She stood at the observation deck, watching the strange ripples their passage created in the fabric of space-time. After 15 years of deep space exploration, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. "Captain, we're picking up something bizarre," Lieutenant Sarah O'Connor called from her sensor station. The young officer's Irish lilt carried an edge of excitement that made Maya turn. "The background quantum field is organizing itself." Maya raised an eyebrow. In her experience, nothing in nature organized itself without a reason. "Show me." The holographic display flickered to life, showing waves of probability collapsing into perfect geometric patterns around them. It was beautiful, like watching chaos crystallize into order. And it was completely impossible. "Dr. Harrison," Maya called to their chief physicist, "care to explain what we're seeing?" The elderly physicist adjusted his glasses, frowning at the readings. It's as if something, or someone, is imposing mathematical perfection on random quantum fluctuations. The energy required would be... He trailed off, shaking his head. "Astronomical." "Astronomical we can handle," Maya replied, unconsciously touching the medallion at her neck. A reminder of Earth's first successful probability drive test. "Impossible is what humans do best." The words had barely left her mouth when space itself seemed to fold inward, where there had been empty void. A fleet of ships now hung in perfect formation. They were beautiful in their geometric precision, all smooth curves and exact angles that seemed to deny the very concept of imperfection. "Multiple contacts," Lieutenant Commander James Wilson reported from Tactical, his dark hands dancing across the control interface. "I count 30 vessels arranged in." He paused, double-checking his readings. A perfect tetrahedral lattice. "Their technology signatures are off the charts," O'Connor added. "But there's something odd about them. They're not generating any probability waves at all. It's like they've somehow eliminated quantum uncertainty from their systems entirely." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Humanity had spent decades learning to harness quantum uncertainty with their probability drives. The idea of eliminating it entirely was like trying to remove gravity from the universe. It shouldn't be possible. A signal cut through their thoughts, not transmitted through conventional channels, but seemingly emerging from the quantum field itself. The message arrived in their minds with crystalline clarity. "Hetentulan anommalus vessel. UAAVENTERENEXUSCOLEC space utilizing prohibited probabilistic technologies. Your methods 13 universal coherency. Prepare for immediate conversion or elimination." "Well," Maya said dryly, "so much for first contact protocols." She squared her shoulders, years of command experience kicking in. "Open a channel, all frequencies, including quantum bands." "Channel open, Captain." "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth research vessel Hyperion. We come in peace and welcome scientific dialogue. Our probability drive technology represents no threat." The response cut through her words like a laser through fog. "Probability is chaos. Chaos is entropy. Entropy is death. Your species approach to universal forces. Demonstrates undamental incompatibility with cosmic order." Dr. Harrison's console suddenly erupted with alerts. "Captain, they're trying to impose quantum certainty on our drive field. They're attempting to collapse our probability wave functions by force." The Hyperion shuddered as its engines fought against the alien influence. Maya watched as perfect geometric patterns began spreading across their sensor displays, trying to contain and correct what the aliens saw as disorder. "They're not trying to destroy us," Maya realized. gripping her command chair as another tremor rocked the ship. They're trying to fix us. If they succeed in collapsing our probability field, Harrison warned, the drive will fail. We'll be stranded here. Maya's jaw set in a determined line. Humanity had faced extinction-level threats before. Ice ages, plagues, climate collapse. Each time, they'd survived not through perfection, but through adaptation, through embracing chaos and change. She wouldn't let some hyper-evolved geometric purists undo that legacy. Dr. Harrison, can we increase quantum fluctuations in the drive? The physicist looked at her like she'd suggested setting fire to the air supply. Increase them. Captain, we spend most of our time trying to contain them. Exactly. These beings have built their entire civilization on perfect mathematical certainty. Let's show them why that might be a weakness. She turned to her crew, seeing the same determination in their eyes that she felt in her gut. All hands, battle stations. Lieutenant Wilson, power to shields. O'Connor, start monitoring their attack patterns. I want to know just how perfect their perfection really is. Dr. Harrison. She allowed herself a small smile, remembering all the times humanity's greatest achievements had come from doing exactly what the experts said was impossible. Let's introduce a little chaos into their ordered universe. As the alien fleet began to move with mathematical precision, Maya Chen and her crew prepared to demonstrate why humanity's greatest strength had always been its beautiful imperfection. The Hyperion's probability drive pulsed erratically as Captain Chen's order took effect. Dr. Harrison's fingers flew across his console, deliberately introducing quantum instabilities that would have given his old physics professors nightmares. They're responding, O'Connor reported, watching the Nexus fleet's movements. Their formation is shifting. It's like they're trying to solve an equation, but we keep changing the variables. Maya watched through the main viewport as the geometric alien ships adjusted their positions with mechanical precision. Each movement was mathematically perfect, designed to counter the Hyperion's quantum fluctuations. But perfection, Maya knew, had its limits. Their attack patterns are emerging, Wilson called out. They're using some kind of coherence beam, trying to force our quantum field into alignment with their mathematical models. The ship shuddered as another wave of forced certainty washed over them. Warning lights flashed across every console as the probability drive fought against the alien influence. Maya could feel the conflict in her bones, order versus chaos, certainty versus probability. Dr. Harrison, what happens if we intentionally misalign our quantum matrices? Maya asked, an idea forming. Not randomly, but in specific patterns that look like errors. The physicist's eyes lit up with understanding. Like a vaccine, introducing controlled chaos to build resistance. It's brilliant, but he hesitated. The strain on the drive would be enormous. Better than letting them fix us into oblivion, Maya decided. Do it. The effect was immediate and stunning. As Harrison implemented the changes, the Hyperion's quantum field began generating what looked like systematic errors, patterns that seemed to be failing in predictable ways. The Nexus ships responded exactly as Maya had hoped, adjusting their coherence beams to correct these apparent weaknesses. They took the bait, O'Connor announced. Their algorithms are focusing on the decoy patterns. But Captain, they're learning. Each adjustment is more precise than the last. Maya smiled. Good. Let them chase perfection. Wilson, status of their attack formation. Still maintaining geometric precision, but their response time is slowing. Their processors seem to be struggling with the increasing complexity of our errors. The bridge crew watched in fascination as the alien fleet's perfect formation began to show microscopic signs of strain. Their attempts to correct the Hyperion's apparently systematic failures were forcing them to compute an ever-expanding array of quantum possibilities. It's like watching a supercomputer try to calculate every digit of pi, Dr. Harrison observed. No matter how powerful they are, the complexity just keeps growing. A new message cut through their thoughts. Anomalietcted. Your QUANTUM diviso or DRs displa PATTRN inconsistent with natural PROBABLITYFLUC2ATY minus CEAs. This deception or ADAC unimmediate termination. They're starting to realize we're playing them, Wilson warned. Energy readings from their fleet are spiking. Maya leaned forward in her chair. Good. That means they're getting frustrated. Dr. Harrison, time to show them what real quantum chaos looks like. Introduce genuine random fluctuations alongside our fake patterns. Captain, that's... Harrison paused, then grinned. Actually, that's perfect. They won't be able to tell which errors are deliberate and which are real. The Hyperion's drive surged as Harrison implemented the changes. The ship's quantum field became a maze of true and false patterns, real chaos masquerading as fake disorder pretending to be systematic failure. It was the kind of logical paradox that only humans would think to create. The effect on the Nexus fleet was dramatic. Their perfect formation began to waver as their computers struggled to analyze and counter the conflicting patterns. Some ships moved to correct what they thought were systematic errors, while others tried to contain actual quantum fluctuations. Their coordination is breaking down, O'Connor reported with barely contained excitement. They can't maintain perfect geometric alignment while processing this many variables. In COMPRE and ZDL, the alien message boomed, but now there was something new in its tone. Uncertainty. Your actions, DEFI logical analysis. Explain your methodology. Maya opened a channel. That's humanity's secret, she broadcast. We thrive on incomprehensibility. We make art that breaks rules, music that defies patterns, and science that shouldn't work. Your perfect universe is beautiful, but it's static. We prefer a universe that can still surprise us. The response was immediate and harsh. The Nexus fleet's formation suddenly tightened, their ships moving with renewed purpose. Unacceptable. Your species represents a corruption of human IV RSL constantes. You will be corrected. Multiple weapons signatures, Wilson called out. They're done trying to fix us, Captain. Now they're just going to eliminate us. Maya watched as the alien ships arranged themselves into what looked like a three-dimensional firing solution. Their formation was flawless, their targeting absolute. By any mathematical model, the Hyperion's destruction was certain. But if there was one thing humans had learned over countless generations, it was that mathematics wasn't everything. Dr. Harrison, Maya ordered, a fierce light in her eyes, show them why uncertainty is the universe's most powerful force. As the Nexus fleet prepared to fire, the Hyperion's probability drive spun up to full power, ready to prove that in a universe of infinite possibilities, perfection was sometimes the greatest weakness of all. The Hyperion's probability drive screamed as Dr. Harrison pushed it beyond its design limits. Reality itself seemed to blur around them as quantum uncertainty principles were stretched to their breaking point. Multiple incoming coherence beams, Wilson's voice cut through the chaos. Their firing solution is, it's perfect, too perfect. Maya watched as streams of focused energy erupted from the Nexus fleet, each beam calculated to intersect exactly where the Hyperion would be in the next microsecond. The alien weapons weren't just accurate. They were solving the quantum position equations for every possible point in spacetime the Earth ship might occupy. But Maya had learned long ago that sometimes the best way to win wasn't to play the game better. It was to change the rules entirely. Dr. Harrison, she called out, remember that theory you had about quantum superposition cascades? The physicist's eyes widened. Captain, that was just a thought experiment. The math suggests it would tear apart the fabric of spacetime. The math also said our probability drive would never work. Maya countered. Sometimes you have to trust human intuition over alien arithmetic. Harrison hesitated for just a moment, then nodded. His fingers flew across his console, implementing theoretical calculations that no responsible scientist would ever actually test. The Hyperion's drive began to pulse with a new rhythm, like a heart beating in impossible dimensions. "What exactly are we doing?" O'Connor asked, watching her sensor readings with a mixture of fascination and horror. "We're going to exist everywhere and nowhere at once," Harrison explained, his voice tense with concentration. "Instead of trying to avoid their perfect targeting, we're going to occupy every possible target point simultaneously." The effect was immediate and spectacular. The Nexus fleet's coherence beams, designed to force quantum certainty onto a single point in spacetime, suddenly had to contend with a target that existed in a state of pure probability. The Hyperion wasn't dodging their attacks. It was becoming the quantum uncertainty they so desperately wanted to eliminate. "Their computers are going haywire," O'Connor reported with a note of triumph. "They're detecting us in multiple locations simultaneously. Their targeting algorithms can't compute a solution." Maya allowed herself a grim smile as she watched the alien fleet's perfect formation begin to break down. Their ships were trying to adjust to the impossible readings, each correction forcing them further from their mathematical ideal. "In NCOMPREE and SIBL," the Nexus message boomed again, but now there was something new in its tone. Fear. "Your actions violate UNDAMENTAL UNIVRSL constantes. This cannot be." "That's the problem with constants," Maya broadcast back. "Sometimes they're only constant until someone proves they're not. Humanity's greatest discoveries have always come from questioning what everyone else thought was impossible." The Hyperion's hull groaned as reality itself seemed to flex around them. Warning lights flashed across every console as the probability drive pushed the boundaries of what should be possible. "Captain," Harrison called out, his voice strained, "the quantum superposition cascade is starting to affect local spacetime. We're creating ripples." Maya watched in awe as waves of distorted probability spread out from the Hyperion like ripples in a cosmic pond. Where they touched the Nexus ships, perfect geometric forms began to waver and shift, their mathematical certainty disrupted by waves of pure possibility. "Their fleet is losing coherence," Wilson reported. "The ripples are interfering with their quantum field generators. They can't maintain their technological perfection in the face of so much uncertainty." But the Nexus Collective wasn't finished. Their ships began to move again, this time arranging themselves into a new formation that seemed to bend space itself. "Chaos must be maintained," their message thundered. "If we cannot woo, we go a movie your situation of spacetime." From Existence. Maya felt a chill as she realized what they were attempting. The alien fleet was trying to excise the Hyperion from reality itself, like a surgeon cutting out a cancerous growth from the universe. "Dr. Harrison," she called out, "what happens if we reverse the polarity of our quantum field during a superposition cascade?" The physicist stared at her in shock. "Captain, that's never even been theorized. The interaction between reversed quantum states and a superposition cascade could create a what?" Harrison swallowed hard. "A probability singularity. A point where all possible quantum states exist simultaneously. It would be like a black hole, but instead of consuming matter and energy, it would consume certainty itself." Maya looked out at the Nexus fleet, their ships still arranging themselves into that reality-ending formation. They were so focused on maintaining perfect order that they couldn't see the power of embracing chaos. "Do it," she ordered. "Let's show them what happens when you push human ingenuity too far." As Harrison began the quantum field reversal, Maya sent one final message to the Nexus Collective. "You tried to eliminate chaos from the universe, but you forgot something important. In human history, our greatest moments of progress have always come from the edge of chaos. Let's see how your perfect order handles a little slice of pure probability." The Hyperion's drive pulsed one final time, and reality itself held its breath, waiting to see what would happen when perfect order collided with ultimate chaos. The moment the quantum field reversed, reality fractured. Space around the Hyperion erupted into a kaleidoscope of possibilities, each one more impossible than the last. The probability singularity blossomed like a flower made of pure mathematics, its petals touching every possible timeline simultaneously. Status, Maya called out, gripping her chair as the ship shuddered through dimensions that shouldn't exist. The singularity is stable, if you can call it that, Harrison reported, his voice filled with wonder. It's creating a cascade of quantum possibilities, each one affecting the Nexus fleet's perfect calculations. Their computers are trying to process every possibility at once. Through the viewport, Maya watched as the geometric precision of the alien ships began to waver. Their perfect formation distorted as each vessel tried to compensate for the infinite variations in spacetime, now radiating from the Hyperion. Their ships are losing cohesion, O'Connor announced. The probability waves are interfering with their quantum certainty fields. They can't maintain their technological perfection. The Nexus fleet's response was immediate but uncoordinated. For the first time, their action showed signs of desperation rather than precision. Some ships attempted to maintain their reality-excising formation, while others tried to retreat from the spreading chaos. Impossible, came the Nexus broadcast, but now their perfect voice crackled with static and uncertainty. Your actions defy all laws of HFY Sci-Fi. UCANNOT. That's humanity's secret, Maya interrupted, broadcasting on all frequencies. We don't just defy the laws of physics, we rewrite them. Every impossible thing we've achieved started with someone saying it couldn't be done. The probability singularity continued to grow, its effects rippling through space like waves in a cosmic ocean. Where it touched the Nexus ships, their perfect geometric forms began to shift and change, forced to adapt to a reality where certainty itself was in flux. "Captain," Harrison called out, "I'm detecting something extraordinary. The singularity isn't just affecting their ships, it's affecting their fundamental understanding of reality. Their quantum processors are being forced to evolve, to handle uncertainty in ways they never conceived possible." Maya leaned forward, watching as the alien fleet's movements became more erratic, more human. They're learning, she realized. All this time, they thought eliminating uncertainty was the path to advancement. But they're finally seeing what humanity discovered millennia ago, that true progress comes from embracing the unknown. "Multiple quantum signatures," Wilson suddenly announced. "The Nexus ships, they're attempting to modify their own drives. They're trying to replicate our probability field." The space around them blazed with new energy as the alien vessels began experimenting with uncertainty. Their perfect formations dissolved into more organic patterns, each ship now moving with a fluidity that would have been impossible minutes before. A new message cut through the chaos, different from the others. This one carried nuance, variation, humanity. Captain Chen of the Hyperion. It began, We understand now. Your species' embrace of chaos. It is not a flaw. It is an evolutionary advantage we never considered." Maya smiled. Sometimes the best way to achieve perfection is to stop trying to be perfect. Humanity learned that lesson through countless failures and unexpected successes. The probability singularity began to stabilize, settling into a new quantum state that bridged the gap between human chaos and Nexus order. The alien ships adjusted their positions one final time, but now they moved with a grace that combined mathematical precision with organic flexibility. "Your technology," the Nexus voice continued, "it is not primitive as we assumed. It is revolutionary. You have shown us that there is strength in uncertainty, wisdom in imperfection. Does this mean you're not going to try to eliminate us from existence?" Maya asked, only half joking. No, there was something new in the alien voice, something that might have been humor. "We believe there is much our civilizations could learn from each other. Your chaos balanced by our order. Perhaps together, we could achieve things neither of us could imagine alone. Dr. Harrison looked up from his console, his eyes shining with possibilities. Captain, the quantum readings from their ships, they're stabilizing into something entirely new. It's like they're finding a balance between certainty and probability. This could revolutionize our understanding of physics. Maya watched as the Nexus fleet rearranged itself one final time, not in a perfect geometric pattern, but in a flowing, organic formation that still maintained mathematical beauty. It was order and chaos in perfect harmony, a reflection of what both species could become. "Well," she said, allowing herself to relax for the first time since the encounter began, "I guess this is what first contact is supposed to look like, both sides learning something new." Though I doubt anyone expected it to involve rewriting the laws of quantum mechanics. The Hyperion's probability drive hummed contentedly, its quantum field now resonating in harmony with the evolved Nexus ships. Together, they hung in space, a testament to the power of adaptation, the strength of diversity, and the endless possibilities that arise when different ways of thinking collide. 6 months after the historic first contact between humanity and the Nexus Collective, the Hyperion floated in high orbit around a star that humans had never seen before. The ship's probability drive pulsed in perfect counterpoint to the quantum harmonics of the massive Nexus research station that hung nearby like a geometric sculpture made of light and mathematics. Captain Maya Chen stood in the station's observation dome, watching as human and Nexus scientists worked together, their different approaches to physics creating breakthroughs that would have been impossible just months ago. "It is still difficult to process," said Interface Coordinator Axion, the crystalline being who had once commanded the fleet sent to eliminate them. Its form shifted between perfect geometric patterns and flowing organic shapes, a visual representation of how much the Nexus had evolved. "For 50,000 years, we sought to eliminate uncertainty from the universe. Now we understand that uncertainty was the key to evolution all along." Maya nodded, watching as Dr. Harrison demonstrated a new quantum probability theorem to a group of Nexus physicists. Their perfect mathematical models were learning to accommodate human intuition, while human science was gaining precision it had never achieved before. "Sometimes the hardest part of learning is unlearning what you think you know," she said. "Humanity had to learn that lesson countless times throughout our history." "Your species' greatest strength," Axion observed, its voice harmonizing with the quantum field around them, "is not your ability to create chaos, as we first thought. It is your ability to find patterns within chaos, to dance on the edge between order and uncertainty." The observation dome's displays showed other joint projects scattered across Nexus space. Human probability drive technology was being integrated with Nexus quantum engineering, creating hybrid systems that could navigate reality in ways neither species had imagined possible. More importantly, the collaboration was spreading beyond technology. "The cultural exchange programs are showing remarkable results," Maya noted, gesturing to a display showing human artists working with Nexus designers. The resulting creations combine mathematical precision with organic spontaneity, creating new forms of expression that resonated across species boundaries. "Indeed," Axion agreed. "Our young ones especially have embraced the concept of improvisation. It is both disturbing and fascinating to watch them experiment with imperfection." Maya smiled, remembering how her own daughter used to create art by deliberately coloring outside the lines. Imperfection is where possibility lives. Every mutation that drove evolution, every mistake that led to a breakthrough, they all came from something that wasn't quite perfect. The station hummed around them as new experiments pushed the boundaries of both species' understanding of reality. In one laboratory, researchers were exploring how consciousness itself affected quantum probability, combining Nexus precision with human intuition to unlock the deeper mysteries of existence. "We have received interesting reports from the outer territories," Axion said, its form shifting to display complex geometric patterns that Maya had learned to recognize as excitement. "Other species that we once dismissed as primitive because of their probabilistic technologies. We are beginning to see them in a new light. The universe is a big place, Maya replied. Maybe the real key to advancing civilization isn't finding the one perfect way to do things, but learning how to combine all the different ways that work. Their conversation was interrupted by an alert from one of the research labs. Dr. Harrison's voice came through, barely containing his excitement. Captain, Coordinator, you need to see this. We've managed to stabilize a controlled probability cascade across multiple quantum dimensions. It's beautiful. As they made their way to the lab, Maya reflected on how far both species had come. The Nexus had learned to embrace uncertainty, while humanity had gained new appreciation for the power of precision. Together, they were proving that evolution wasn't just about survival of the fittest, but about finding new ways to adapt and grow. You know, she said to Axion as they walked, there's an old Earth saying, perfect is the enemy of good. We used to think it just meant not to overthink things, but maybe it's deeper than that. Maybe perfection itself is a kind of stagnation, and real progress only comes when we're willing to risk being wrong. The Nexus Coordinator's crystalline form sparkled with what Maya had learned was their version of laughter. Perhaps that is why the universe seems to favor chaos slightly over order. Without the possibility of error, there can be no possibility of discovery. They entered the lab just as the new experiment reached its peak. The quantum display showed reality itself flowing like water, mathematical certainty and probability dancing together in patterns that defied description. Human intuition and Nexus precision had combined to create something entirely new, not perfect, but perfectly balanced between order and chaos. As Maya watched her crew working alongside beings they had once nearly fought to extinction, she understood that this was humanity's true gift to the universe. Not their technology, not their scientific theories, but their fundamental understanding that imperfection wasn't a flaw to be corrected, but a doorway to possibilities that perfect beings would never imagine. The future stretched out before them, infinite in its potential, beautiful in its uncertainty, and somewhere in the vast cosmos, other civilizations waited to be discovered, each with their own unique way of seeing the universe, their own beautiful imperfections to add to the cosmic dance between order and chaos.